Well, my name's Chris Robinson and I'm taking part in the Irish Heritage Walk for Scotland Road. I'll be one of the leaders, basically outlining what's happened in the past in this area. We'll be switching as we go along the walk, but we've got about 14 different stops. So it takes a great deal of memory to remember our scripts. Well, now you can actually see landscape, and you couldn't see this amount of grass going back to, well, the 1830s you might have seen, but at the time we're dealing with, 1909, we're kicking off with 1909 here, and this place was just full of buildings, houses, small manufactory shops, densely packed, and generally a very poor population, poor in terms of monetary wealth, otherwise very rich. We had lime works there, lime works on this corner, we had a brewery over here, we had a sugar factory over there, there was a glass making factory further down that street, there were 4 soaperies making soap, there were alkali works and there were vitriol works where they're making hydrochloric acid. It was full of smells and really unpleasant odours and gases as well. I think there are more books written on local history for Liverpool than in any city in the country, and it is partly because of the character that was built up in this area, the area which stretches from Bootle to the Dingle, that has actually made people so appreciative of what has actually disappeared.
The idea was with this kind of redevelopment, which actually was finished in 1911, was to have your big windows, your wide spaces in front, which was revolutionary if you think about where the people have come from, the courts. There was one water pump for all those kind of houses, and also if you look, that structure there is where the water pumps would be. We see one a bit more closer up there.
I'm still amazed that someone hasn't just melted it down.
Because of your attitude to the Irish, my beautiful, beautiful husband was in and out of workhouses all of his life. Can you imagine what that did to him, to his pride, to his head and heart?
In this, there's about a 2-mile strip from the river inland, and then going from Bootle, as I said, to the Dingle in the south end, and it was largely populated. There were lots of Welsh, there were lots of Scots, and people from other countries coming here, but the majority of the population was Irish, and then became Liverpool Irish. And the situation in which they grew up was very specific to this city, which makes it distinct from other cities. And this is what people are interested in, and it's worth recording. Why? Because it's important.
So do you think there should be more of this kind of thing as regards history and reconnecting to history?
Well, I'm going to bring my kids to just the Eldon place. I mean, the kids are 28 and 31 now, but they wouldn't know that was there. And I remember going to the wash house with my grandmother down that other end where you showed us, Fontenoy Street down that way.
So what was the wash house like? Tell us about the wash house.
Well, I was very young, but I can just remember going with her and it being really, very hot. And women in like their sleeves, no sleeves, bare armed, washing stuff. It was the heat. I can remember it being really, really warm in there.
Would you kind of advise this kind of tour, maybe for young people as well? Would you say?
Yes,
so?
I think it's. I mean, I'm an Irish Catholic.
Okay.
But I take an interest in all the history of Liverpool.
Yeah.
Like I take an interest in the history of Ireland.
Right.
And I think one of the things that happens to you as you age a little bit, of course, is that you want to know your roots and where you come from.
It's very true, isn't it?
Absolutely. And funnily enough, they don't teach people this at school.
No.
They don't bring history to life in this way.
I just think it really sort of brought home how dreadful it was for the Irish immigrants and the families, and arriving and just landing here, and so many deaths. It just really brought it home to actually see the place, and then coming down here and seeing this, it really reinforced it.
So it's very, very educational.
Yeah.
As I may say, is one of the main factors of children. Tours will be a wonderful thing. Because my daughter keeps asking me questions about where I come from.
Right.
And my daughter is going to come next week with my wife. So it's that generation are asking, where do you come from, Dad?
So you think it's important to continue those roots and to let people know where they're from?
Oh, I think it's fantastic, and you can't forget that.
No. Do you think we can learn stuff for the future, as in where we're at now, from the past as well? Would you say we can learn a lot of lessons? Would you say?
Well, it has once been said the only thing we learn from history is that we don't learn anything from history. But I don't agree with that one.
Right.
I think there is a lot we can learn because you see things repeating themselves and coming back again.
Okay.
And I think there is a lot we can learn.